Yes, hello again, and welcome back to Classic Dirt Bike TV, and of course to part one of the racing highlights from the Scottish Classic Round 4 event that was held at Slamannan near Falkirk. So as you can see, the early morning Scotch mist still hadn't lifted by the time race 1 had made their way to the start line, so we're certainly hoping that things will improve as the day goes on, and hopefully these guys that are all lined up here at the start line will be able to see their way around the track without the need for any kind of lights or any fog warning devices. So let's just jump into race 1, which is the combined pre-68s up to and over 350cc and the pre-75s up to and over 300cc. So these are basically the vintage bikes combined with the pre-75s. It looks like number 9, that's Lewis Bell's made quite a good start there, but I see Lewis pulling off the track, so I don't know if he's got some kind of problem with that bike early on. So as the bikes make their way to the bottom section of the track, you can just about see them in the fog there, but it looks like it's number 98. That's Liston Bell who has the early lead. Second position looks like it could be Darrell Wiley, number 22, in second position on the 354 stroke Honda. Andrew King is in third place on the HIS Stormer. But hopefully this fog will lift as the day's proceedings progress, and we'll be able to get a better look at some of these lovely bikes. Now, of course, this is part 1 of 3 videos that I'll be posting from this round 4 meeting, so I do hope you'll take a look at all 3 videos, and then of course leave the appropriate comment, whether it be good or bad, in the comment section of your YouTube player, or just better still, just simply hit that subscribe button, because that way you'll be notified immediately every time I upload a new video. So there's number 22 there, that's Darrell Wiley, who seems to have passed number 98 Liston Bell. Number 125 just going through there is Ian Stainton on the 4-stroke Clues stroker. Number 13 is Jim Allison. As we take a look at number 40, that's Colin Flockhart on that lovely Shenny VSA that we had a look at in our paddock walkabout. So we're back to the front of the pack, and it looks like number 98 Liston Bell has retained that first place position. Remember, this is a combined race between the vintage pre-68s and the pre-75 bikes, so it looks like Liston Bell is currently leading the pre-68 part of this race, and it will be Darrell Wiley in second position who leads the pre-75s. That's a 350 Honda 4-stroke bike that Darrell Wiley's riding. It looks like we've got a faller there. That's number 197 on the 250 Husqvarna, which of course is Chris Trotton, so hopefully Chris will be able to pick up that Husqvarna and get back into this race. Now, the track conditions here at Slamannan are pretty good for these old bikes. It's quite a soft and boggy track, as you can see, with that exceptionally long grass, but thankfully the farmer did help out by taking his tractor and his topping harvester around the track to cut some of that long grass to give us a reasonable track to race on. But it's number 98 Liston Bell who comes up to complete another racing lap. But as you can see, the dreaded fog looks like it's beginning to lift now, and you can almost see the full track now, so it's a lot safer for both the riders and the marshals to see each other if there's some kind of incident occurring on the course. So we're taking a look at number 112, that's Andrew Johnson riding that old 1960s British made dot Scrambler, a nice old British classic with the Villiers two-stroke engine in the frame. You don't see too many of these old dots still being raced these days, but that particular bike there of Andrews is a fully original machine, so quite a rare bike, and it's good to see them still being raced here at these kind of events. So there's your race leader coming round to take his first win of the day. It's a win for number 98 at Liston Bell, and we're looking at number 125. That's Ian Stainton, who's going to cross the line on that lovely Clues Stroker bike. And looks like we've got another DNF there for number 197. That's the faller for the Husqvarna. That's of course Chris Trotton, who looks like he's going to have to push his bike back to the paddock. So that brings us on to race 2, and this will be the first race for the pre-1984 250cc class. Thankfully, as you can see, the fog is now lifted a bit, but it's still heavily overcast, but we're still managing to see what's going on the track. So as the riders leave the line, looks like a good start there by number 81. That's Chris Cannon on the 250 RM Suzuki. I think that's maybe a 1982 or possibly 83 RM 250. So it looks like number 81, Chris Cannon's made a very good start for his first 250 race of the day. On the left hand side there, number 67 in second position is Mike Tweddle on the 250 Red Rocket. He's been chased by number 38. That's of course Chad Stevenson on his 250 Red Rocket. You may remember we had a look at Chad Stevenson's Honda Red Rocket in our paddock walkabout video. So as the riders come towards the finish line to complete lap 1, it's number 81 Chris Cannon on the RM250 Suzuki who leads. Number 67 Mike Tweddle, that's number 38 just going through there again, Chad Stevenson. Looks like Andy Malik has made a good start there on the 250 Montesa. And although we said the fog was beginning to lift, it looks like it's closing in a bit at the bottom of the track, but still the visibility is good enough to keep this race on the go. So there's your race leader, number 81 Chris Cannon on the monoshock RM 250 Suzuki. Second position is still Mike Tweddle. Chad Stevenson currently in third position. So this has been a good start to his first race of the day for number 81 Chris Cannon, who of course loves his Suzukis. He did have a decent collection of these bikes at one time, but has now only whittled that down to just a few machines. So there's number 38 Chad Stevenson just crossing the line. Andy Malik, number 43, is currently in fourth on the 250 Montesa. And just in case you're not already aware, this round 4 here at Slamannan is of course the last and the final race event for the Scottish Classic Club for 2024, because they've only had 4 out of their scheduled 8-round championship this year, because 4 of those race events were cancelled, it has to be said, due to no fault of the club, and all of those 4 cancellations were out with any of the control of the organisation. So it's not been the best of racing seasons for the Scottish club, and hopefully 2025 will bring a much brighter outlook. So we're looking at number 67 just crossing the line there. That's Mike Tweddle. There's your 4th placed rider, number 43 Andy Malik on the 250 Montesa. Number 27 is Mike Doby, and just coming into shot now is number 791, that's Stephen McWhirter on the 1980 250 Michael. So we're back with our current race leader, number 81 Chris Cannon on his 250 RM Suzuki. So this is off to a good start for his first race of the day. Second position is still number 67, Mike Tweddle, on one of those super popular 250 red rockets. So Mike still keeping Chris Cannon in touch here, so he's still in with a chance of maybe stealing that front place position. There's your fourth place man again, number 43, Andy Malik on Montesa. But there was a decent turnout of riders for this round 4 event, although the numbers are slightly down from previous rounds, but thankfully there was still enough bikes and riders to make a good classic day out. And to be fair, entries do tend to slightly dwindle nearer the end of the racing season due to broken motorcycles or worse still, tired, aching bodies. So we're looking at the battle for the pole position between number 81 Chris Cannon and number 67 Mike Tweddle. So when they come across the line this time, they will be starting their last and final lap. So it looks like Mike Tweddle is maybe lining up Chris Cannon for a pass on this last and final lap. There's Chad Stevenson again, currently in third position. So we've got, I think it's at least 24 races to bring you from this event, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button or return to Classic Dirt Bike TV to see all of the remaining races from this round 4 event. So here's the battle at the front between number 81 Chris Cannon and Mike Tweddle, as both these riders head towards the checkered flag for this first 250 race of the day, and it looks like it's going to be Chris Cannon who's looking quite comfortable here at the front. A couple of turns to go, so as they make their way up to the finish line, it looks like it's going to be a win for number 81 Chris Cannon, and it's going to be a close finish between Chris Cannon and Mike Tweddle. Now it looks like Andy Malik is going to take that third place position from number 38 in fourth place. That's Chad Stevenson. And just making his way across the finish line is number 116. That's Alex Foster. So that quite nicely brings us on to race 3. This is the combined pre-1977s and the pre-1989 125. So these guys are all lined up and good to go. Our official starter today is, of course, Stuart Riddle. So Stuart lets the bikes loose from the line. It looks like a good start there by number 416. That's Mike McClurty on that super quick CR125 Honda. In second position there is, looks like it's Lewis Bell. It's nice to see Lewis back on a bike again, because Lewis has been out for at least a couple of years with a bad shoulder injury, and I think this could be even Lewis's first race event back. So looks like Lewis has made a good start there in second position. So as the riders come up to complete lap 1, leading the 125 part of this race is number 416 Mike McClurty. Lewis Bell is leading the pre-77 part of the race. Number 5 there is that's James Newby, riding one of those beautiful Cagiva bikes that we had a look at in our paddock walkabout video. So look out for those lovely Cagivas coming to Classic Dirt Bike TV quite soon. So there's your race leader, number 416 Mike McClurty on the CR125 Honda, who leads Lewis Bell there, number 9 on the big 4-stroke CCM. In third position, it's number 24, that's Sam Sibbald, as we take another look at James Newby on the little 125 Cagiva, complete of course with all of the associated Cagiva race shirts. So completing lap 2, it's still number 416 Mike McClurty in second position. it's Lewis Bell who leads the Pre-77 part of this race. And you can see the current condition of the track. It's quite soft underfoot as we take a look at Gillian Murray there going through on her Can-Am bike. Gillian's one of the very few lady riders who race with the Scottish Classic Club. As we take a look at number 24 coming towards us, that's Sam Sibbald in third position on his big TT 500 Yamaha. There's James Newby just going through again. Number 171, if you remember, is that lovely MR 250 Honda that we had a look at in our paddock video. That's of course Brian Atkinson, and you can see that this is a quick little machine, this little 250, which was originally an enduro bike at one time with American specification. And we're taking another look there at number 154. That's Gillian Murray on that 250 Can-Am bike. So number 14 is Brian Hamilton on the 4-stroke Yamaha, being chased by number 35. That's John Porteous on his lovely 2-stroke CZ. But here's a scrap at the front between number 9 Lewis Bell and number 416 Mike McClurty. Both of these bikes, of course, are racing in different classes, but nevertheless are having quite a good scrap there at the front of the pack. So all of these bikes starting their last and final lap. James Newby just going through there on the number 5 Kajiva, and the number 55 Kajiva here is James's brother Stuart. So as I said, we'll be taking a much closer look at both of these lovely Kajivas in a future video here on my YouTube channel. So it's the last lap for number 416 Mike McClurty and number 9 Lewis Bell. It looks like Mike McClurty's got the advantage with just a couple of turns to go. So as they head up towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's going to be a win for number 416 Mike McClurty, and Lewis Bell, number 9, is going to take the win for the Pre-77 class. And this is the man who's going to finish in second position in the Pre-77s. It's number 24. That's Sam Sibbald. And it looks like Gillian Murray's got a bit of a problem with the Can-Am. She's getting a bit of a push start there from Dad David. So it looks like Gillian's up and running once again. So it's no surprise that after race 3 that brings us on to race 4, and this is the first race for the big bore bikes of the pre-1984s over 250s. This is basically the open class where all the horsepower is usually situated. So it looks like it's number 25 Craig Smith who's made the early running as they start at lap 1. So it's a good start there by Craig Smith, number 25. Second position, I think that could be at number 81 or 811. That's Mark Brockhurst in second position on the 490 Maiko. Craig Smith, of course, another one of the riders from my local city of Dunfermline. So Craig coming round to complete lap 1. It's Mark Brockhurst in second position. Number 75 is David Loudon. That looks like number 87 just making his way through there. That was Darren Brown, and number 334 just passing is Kevin Smith. Now there's number 2 Paul Chiappa. Now he should be really running at the front of this pack, but he had some engine trouble as his bike left the start line. It was misfiring, but it appears to have cleared itself now, so Paul is currently at the back of the pack, so he's got some catching up to do. So still Craig Smith, number 25, your race leader. It looked like Craig was having a quick glance over to Peter Greenwood, who was taking pictures trackside. So I think Craig was just making sure that Peter got some decent snaps of him on the track. There's your second place man, number 811. That's Mark Brockhurst in second position. David Loudon just going through there in third. Number 116 on the 480 Honda in fourth position is Alex Foster, as we take another look at Paul Chiappa, number 2, trying to catch up with the pack. But as I said, these are quite short races, so it looks like Paul is going to have his work cut out to try and get to the front of this pack. So I think it's only 5 laps for the pre-1984 class, as we take a look at number 811, Mark Brockhurst, who's currently in second position on one of those superb 490 German Michaels. So Mark doing very well there in second position. Number 87 is Darren Brown on that lovely 1979 Michael. Lovely bike that, and Darren going quite well at this point in the proceedings. So we're back with our race leader, number 25, Craig Smith. He's still at the front of this pack, still being pursued by number 811, Mark Brockhurst in second position. And you can see that the grass at this event is a bit like a jungle at the moment, but again it's thanks to the local farmer who marked out the track with his grass topper to enable these old motorbikes to get around the course. But the track is still very soft underfoot, as you can see, so conditions are just about perfect for these old bikes. So we're back with number 2, Paul Chiappa, who's still playing catch up after that little mechanical issue with his 490 Michael. And if Paul didn't have that particular problem, he would almost certainly be riding at the front of the pack. So here's your race leader, company number 25, Craig Smith, as he heads across the line to complete another racing lap. Mark Brockhurst is still doing well there in second position, so there's not a lot between these two riders as they cross the line. There's your third placed man, fourth placed man, David Loudon, number 75, who's just behind number 43, Andy Mallock, in third position, as we take another look at Darren Brown, or Jinky as he's known to his friends, but Darren still going well on that 79 Michael. So as he heads towards the checkered flag, it looks like it's going to be the first win of the day for number 25, Craig Smith. So this has been a good ride by Craig. He almost led this race from the start line. It's going to be number 811, Mark Brockhurst, who's going to take that second placed position, and it's going to be this man here, number 43, Andy Mallock, who's going to take third place on the 414 at Montesa. So that brings us back around to the second block of races of the day. This is the combined pre-68s up to and over 350cc, and the pre-75s up to and over 300cc. So this will be their second race of the day. It looks like number 125, Ian Stainton's having a bit of trouble trying to get that Clues Stroker bike to fire up, but it looks like he's got it started once again, so we're all good to go. We're just waiting on our official starter, Stuart Riddle, there, letting the bikes loose from the line. So it looks like Andrew King's made an absolute flyer there on the HIS Stormer bike. So as the riders head to the bottom section of the track on lap 1, it is indeed number 293. That's Andrew King on the HIS Stormer two-stroker, who has the early lead. Looks like Liston Bell is in second position. Lewis Bell is just currently behind his older brother. So that's the two Jawa machines of Liston and Lewis Bell. So it's still Andrew King, number 293, your early race leader. So you can see just how quick these old HIS Stormers were way back in the day. Looks like Darrell Wiley's made a good start again on the 350 Honda 4-stroker. Number 13 just going through there is Jim Allison. And we're taking a look at number 601. That's Mark Witham on his very nice two-stroke CZ. So there's your race leader at the front. It's number 98, Liston Bell, who appears to have now passed Andrew King. So it's Liston Bell on the big 4-stroke Jawa. Andrew King is currently in second position. Darrell Wiley is third. And we're taking a look at Callum Sangster there on the twin port CZ. And Callum is riding this bike that belongs to Kenny Harper. And Callum will be racing this bike at the forthcoming motocross the Nations event, which will be coming up soon over there in the Czech Republic. So it looks like Callum's warming up for that particular event. Number 166 there is Alan Reid on his lovely BSA Victor. And number 40 there is Colin Flockhart. That's that beautiful Shenny BSA bike that we had a look at in our paddock walkabout. So that's Colin Flockhart there at number 40. So we're back with our race leaders. It's still number 98, Liston Bell on the big 4-stroke Jawa, who leads number 293, Andrew King on the 2-stroke HIS Stormer. And it looks like we've lost Lewis Bell, so I think Lewis has maybe had some kind of mechanical issue with his bike, so he doesn't appear to be any longer in the running in this race. But here's your race leader, number 98, Liston Bell. Number 125 again is Ian Stainton, as we take a look at number 13. That's Jim Allison, and I think that's an original 1974 CCM that Jim's currently riding. So there's the answer to that last question. Looks like Lewis is heading for a retirement in this race. But no such problems for Lewis's older brother Liston here, who is still demolishing the track as he makes his way round. But Liston looking good at the front of this race. So Liston riding, of course, that big 4-stroke Jawa. There's your second place man, number 293, Andrew King on the HIS Stormer, as we take a look at number 125, Ian Stainton, riding that lovely Clues 4-stroke stroker bike, which of course is a replica of one of the first machines that Alan Clues ever made. Back again with number 112, Andrew Johnson on his lovely Dot with the Villiers engine. And here's your race leader as he comes up to take the win and the checkered flag. So it's going to be a win for number 98, Liston Bell, with Andrew King on the HIS Stormer in second position. Which quite conveniently brings us on to race 6, and this is the second race of the day for the pre-1984 250 CC class. So we're just waiting again on Stuart releasing the bikes from the line. Looks like another good start by number 81, Chris Cannon, on the 250 RM Suzuki. And this looks like an almost carbon copy of how the first 250 race started, with Chris Cannon in first position, Mike Tweddle there in second on the 250 Honda Red Rocket, and number 38 on the left, that is of course Chad Stevenson. So it looks like it's the same as it was in race 1, with these first 3 riders in exactly the same position. But as they come up to head towards the finish line to complete lap 1, it's still Chris Cannon, number 81, your race leader. Number 38 now is just past number 67, Mike Tweddle, for that second place position. So it's now Chad Stevenson in second place. Number 43 again is Andy Malik, currently in fourth, who this time is riding his 250 Montesa Capra. That was number 85 just going through there on the 250 Yamaha. That was Ian McKean just making his way through. So it's still Chris Cannon at the front, and here's a battle for second position between Mike Tweddle and Chad Stevenson. Andy Malik is back out again, as I said, on his 250 Montesa this time. Andy, of course, was racing in the pre-1984 Open class on his 414 Montesa Capra. So, as you can see, Andy is another fan of these Spanish Montesa motorcycles. Just behind Andy Malik there is number 37, just coming into shot now, is David Herdman on that white 250 Honda. Number 27 is Mike Doby, and Mike's another one of the riders that will soon be heading to the Czech Republic to race at the forthcoming Motocross the Nations. So we're back with our race leader again, number 81, Chris Cannon, and Chris is looking quite comfortable at this stage for another possible win in the 250 class. Second position is still that man there, number 67, Mike Tweddle on the 250 Honda Red Rocket. Currently third place now is Andy Malik, with Chad Stevenson in fourth. As we take another look at number 85, that's Ian McKean crossing the line to complete another racing lap. So here's your second placed positioned rider, still number 67, Mike Tweddle, going very well on his 250 Honda Red Rocket. Mike had a decent result in the first 250 race of the day, so if he can keep the bike upright and on the track, he's looking good for another race finish just behind number 81. That's Chris Cannon, but it looks like Chad Stevenson has dropped his bike into the corner, is having a bit of trouble getting that Red Rocket fired up again. Chad was doing very well. I think he was in about third or fourth position, but looks like he's going to fall well down the pack by the time he gets that bike fired up. So it's still currently this man here, number 81, Chris Cannon, on what I think is a 1983 RM 250 Suzuki, but of course I do stand corrected if you have a bit more knowledge than I do. But Chris is looking very comfortable here at the front for another possible win in this 250 class. There's your second place man, number 67, Mike Tweddle, going well in that second place. So So this is the last and final lap for Chris Cannon. So barring any mechanical issues or something silly like dropping his bike into the corner, it looks like Chris has got this race 2 sewn up and in the bag. So just a couple of turns to go for Chris to secure his second win of the day, and it's going to be Mike Tweddle who's going to cross the line in second position. So it's the second win for number 81 Chris Cannon, and there's your runner-up number 67 Mike Tweddle, and it's going to be another good result for this man here, number 43 Andy Malik on the 250 Montesa. So that conveniently brings us on to race 7, and this is the combined pre-77s and the pre-1989 125s for their second race of the day, and it looks like it's that man again, number 416 Mike McClarty, who's got the early running in this race. It looks like number 24 Sam Sibbald is leading the pre-77 part of this race. Sam Sibbald is riding that 4-stroke Yamaha, but it looks like Lewis Bell is back out for this race, and Lewis this time is riding his CCM 4-stroker, so this is going to be a good scrap here at the front between the big 4-stroke CCM and Mike McClarty's little 125 Honda. And you can see even at this stage the track is beginning to get cut up and quite rutty and muddy at this stage, but it's still Mike McClarty, your race leader, from number 9 Lewis Bell on the 4-stroke CCM. And as I said, it's good to see Lewis back out on the bike again, because he has had that 2-year absence from racing after he hurt his shoulder at a meeting at Drumlandrig Castle a couple of years back. So it's good to see that Lewis is back up and running once again, but it's still number 416 Mike McClarty on that super quick CR 125 Honda, who is your race leader in the 125 part of this race. And of course this man here, number 9 Lewis Bell, will be leading the pre-77 part, as we take a look at another one of the Kajivas just making their way across the line. So we're back up to speed with our race leaders at the front. As I said, both of these bikes are racing in 2 different classes, but it's quite a good contrast actually between a little nimble light 125 Honda bike of Mike McClarty's and the big British built heavier 4-stroke machine of Lewis Bell's CCM, but still quite a good scrap between these two quite talented riders as they come across the line to complete another racing lap. Number 24 there is Sam Sibbald, number 5 is James Newby on the Kajiva. Number 254 just making his way through is John Miller, and number 17 is Mike van der Merwe on his 370 RM Suzuki. But we still have a good scrap here at the front between Mike McClarty and Lewis Bell. Looks like Lewis has still not managed to pass the little 125 of Mike McClarty. Of course, the 125 will be a lot more manoeuvrable in the corners every time, and I expect that Lewis Bell will manage to close up when it comes to the straightaways. So we're taking another look at number 5, James Newby on the superb little 125 Kajiva. And just making his way through there is number 171, that's Brian Atkinson on his MR 250 Honda. So it's a last lap for these two at the front, but it's still currently number 416, Mike McClarty, who leads this combined race. As I said, both of these riders are racing in different classes, but it looks like Lewis has managed to sneak past Mike McClarty. I don't know if Mike maybe missed a gear going into the corner there, but Lewis is certainly going to take the win in the pre-77 class, and it's going to be Mike McClarty to take the win in the pre-1989 125s. And it looks like James Newby is going to finish in second position in that 125 category. But just coming in to finish this race is number 17 again. That's Mike van der Merwe on the RM 370 twin shock Suzuki. So that brings us on to the final race of this part 1 video from Slamannan. This is, of course, race 8, and this is the second race for the pre-1984 class over 250s. So just watching the riders leave the line. David Loudon's made quite a good start, but it's that man again, number 25, Craig Smith, who's made the early start on his twin shock Maiko. Looks like second place now is Paul Chiappa. So Paul's made a decent start to make up for his bad start in the first race of the afternoon. And as you can see, it's quite a short lap here at Slamannan. So it probably suits quite a lot of these older bikes, but your race leader is still number 25, Craig Smith, the gas engineer from Dunfermline. Craig, of course, is a gas engineer for his day job and likes to ride these bikes at weekends. So Paul Chiappa is currently in second position, and whoa, looks like Paul Chiappa's had a bit of a shunt there as he crossed the line, so it looks like Paul is taking a bit of a dive on his Maiko, so hopefully he'll be okay. So your second place man now is number 75, David Loudon on the YZ 490 Yamaha. But it looks like Paul's back on his feet again, and he's trying to get that 490 fired up again, so that's going to drop him well down the pack. Of course, he didn't have a good result in the first race, so Paul is certainly not having a very good day at this round 4 event here at Slamannan. But no such problems for this man here, number 25, Craig Smith, who looks like he's got quite a decent lead over David Loudon in second. That looks like that's Kevin Smith at the bottom of the track there, number 334. Looks like Kevin's got some problems with his twin shock Maiko as well. So we're taking a look at our second placed rider, number 75, David Loudon. David's riding that 490 YZ Yamaha. And as I mentioned earlier, if these are the kind of videos that you like to look at here on YouTube, then I do hope you will hit that like button, or better still, simply subscribe to my channel, because that way you'll be notified immediately every time I upload another video. So we're looking at number 511, who is currently in third position. That's Chris Rogerson, and he's riding one of those 490 Maikos again. He's just behind our second place man, number 75, David Loudon. And I can see Kevin Smith again, sadly parked trackside, so Kevin certainly having some issues with his big Maiko. So you take a look at number 43 again. That's Andy Malik from Burrelton in Angus, in Perthshire. But it's still number 25, Craig Smith, who has got a very comfortable lead at the front of this race. So looks like Craig could stop for a coffee and then remount his bike and still be in the lead of this race. So it's Craig Smith, your race leader. So that's Craig starting his last and final lap, and here's your second place man, number 75, David Loudon. So this has been a good performance by David in second position. Chris Rogerson is still in third on the big Michael, and that's Alistair Aitken from Oban, who appears to have dropped his bike into the corner. So it's still this man here, number 25, Craig Smith, as he heads towards the checkered flag, and this will be Craig's second win of the afternoon. And you can see he's certainly got his foot off the gas and absolutely cruising towards the checkered flag. So it's win number 2 for number 25, Craig Smith, and it's going to be David Loudon who crosses the line in second. So that's basically what went down over the course of the first 2 blocks of races at this round 4 event here at Slamannan. But of course we will be back with more of the racing highlights from this event in part 2. So I do hope you'll take the time to rejoin me and take a look at that. So for the time being, it's goodbye for now.